college, at least initially, so I worked, saved up money, and then was heading to college when I burned a draft card right out here at Emory University. And within a week, I was called into the draft board, and their only question, they said, I didn't know why. They said, "Can we see your draft card?" I said, "Oh crap, I don't have it." They said, "Did you destroy it?" I went, "No, no." Kidding me? I don't know anything about that. Well, I lost my deferment. They sent me to the military. I got drafted in 2 years. I followed a similar path to Gid. We did basic training at Benning. And the thing, I guess I should have gotten nervous when they sent us to Fort Polk. They put us on a bus kind of in the middle of the night, then put a guard on it to make sure you didn't get off the bus. Well, maybe this is some serious bad stuff. They got a damn guard to keep us on the bus. They weren't protecting us, they were keeping us on it. And when you find out when you get into Fort Polk, you're meandering through this swampland or something, and you finally see a big billboard, massive, and it said, "Welcome to Fort Polk, home of combat infantry for Vietnam." And when you were there, you knew you weren't going to Germany, or at the time Libya, or Turkey. You knew where you were going. And they put you so damn far back in there and took you in at night, so if you had an idea you were going to get there out of there, then you didn't know where to go. And that was my experience. And so...
Hey, the locals weren't friendly either.
Well, we called it the town, we called it Fort Pute, Louisiana, near Fleasville. And every night, you could hear guns going off.
They weren't.
Yeah, they were shooting people. I used to tell people this. I honestly think we took more casualties at Fort Polk than we maybe did in Vietnam. Every night, guys, you could just hear rounds going off in the town. And so I had the misfortune of being there when we began to, hey, there's lunch. It's my wife, by the way. You allow me her tonight? Is this, there's another one, right?
Somebody just opens the door.
I was bloody glad to get out of there alive. It was a dangerous place. As a matter of fact, it was the only place I was assigned in the military where beside the rifles they had in the vault and secured, they secured the entrenching tools. You had those were in that room too, because people were whacking each other, and it was so violent there that it got where they would arrest you if you were walking in groups of less than 3, because you were just a target. And they always told you, never turn sharp corners. And so we took, the other misfortune there is meningitis broke out while I was there. And every night you'd hear the meat wagon roll up in the middle of the night and tote some poor guy off. You know he died or what, but meningitis was running rampant through that place. So I was happy to get there, and ended up, they sent me back down to NCO school. And I didn't volunteer for it. And when I got, they told me to go back down there and explain it to the NCO school that I hadn't volunteered. Well, I didn't know he was freaking joking. This ranger. And I said, look, there's been a mistake. I didn't volunteer for this, and I'm not supposed to be here. And this guy let loose a cloud of expletives that, everything, and the word malingerer showed up in there somewhere. That this guy was cursing, screaming, and I said, no, I guess I'm at NCO school now. So I finished that, went to Fort Gordon for 2 months. Then you have to have 1 year to do Vietnam. So I left, went to Vietnam, went in September 1969. Left there in September 1970. I was in the field the entire time, other than a couple of injuries, malaria, and I guess R&R. So I pulled I always felt like Forrest Gump, because for that year, I was one of the few that kind of made the entire year. So when people talking, I might not have been in the heart of this, but I was there and I knew something about it. I made lots of notes about my tour there, so I have notes on my pictures. A lot of them, you put names on them so you could, it kind of helps me to remember who was standing there when the picture was made. Now, because David Rivas, who walked back up, I walked point for the year I was there, started about the first week. And I was trained by David Nava. I was one of the oddities. I was the new guy. And in my squad, when they assigned me to it, there was probably 10, 11 guys. 6, 7 of them had been 6, 7 months in country. David Nava was in my squad, but he was always a private, a corporal, a staff sergeant. I mean, his rank was, it was like this. But and I always said it was some humor to the fact that here I was new, and here I had David Nava, who had already done at least 2 tours, was in my squad. And at the time, I think he was a private. I mean, he just kind of bounced around, and then a few weeks later, he's platoon sergeant. He kind of went from private to staff sergeant. But I made it and got home. I was wounded a couple of times, never got a Purple Heart, got a little shrapnel, but not much of anything. Malaria a few times, but no big deal. One piece of shrapnel got my foot infected. I don't know if you were there or not then, but there's actually a picture somebody made of me, and it says, Danny Johnson and feet. That's when I took my boot off and looked at my toe, and it was black. And I'm sitting there going, good Lord. This was in Cambodia, when we went in Cambodia.
With one foot in Vietnam at all times.
Man, let me tell you, they medevac me out when they saw that color of my toe, and it had gotten infected from some shrapnel. And so they sent me in the rear, ripped off my toenail, pulled a piece of shrapnel out, and then they gave me, it was actually written down, I was supposed to go to Cameron Bay and go in the ocean. It said, now I spent 2-3 days at Cameron Bay, walking in the water, letting the salt water do it, and then came out. But that was about it. I went in as a sergeant, came out as sergeant. Damn glad to. Damn happy to. Thank you.
Is that your comments?
What's that?
Is that your comments? Are you through talking?
Oh, yeah, I think I'm good.
I'll make